Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of GIS Answers. Last time we were looking in Washington State and we were looking around Tacoma, Seattle, and I was looking at the spatial pattern of the sightings between the state parks and state forests and national parks and national forests, between those areas and the cities, and how on the fringe of the cities there's quite a few sightings, quite a few visual sightings, as well as supporting evidence such as vocalizations and wood knocks and footprints. And last time we looked at a sighting by a 6-year-old boy just west of Orting, and that was on a hillside. And the young boy recounted his account that he had 4 years later. And I'm just looking around some more of these areas. And about 11 to 12 kilometers away from that sighting, close to a place called Electron, quite a lovely name, but anyway, in Pierce County. And I'm clicking on this, and in the BFRO report it says skydivers witness creature while flying over a mountain. So that's quite interesting. It looks a bit wooded here. Let's have a look at this account, and this is August 1996 in Pierce County. 1996, Pierce County, skydivers, Class A. Okay, they're flying over Mount Rainier. Nearest town is Kapowskin. We are skydivers. In August 1996 in Kapowskin, Washington, we were at the annual skydive boogie called Geek Brothers. Some of our friends flew their Cessna to the drop zone, and over Mount Rainier, walking down a road, was a Sasquatch. They whipped the plane around and buzzed it about 100 feet. Totally amazing, they said, watching it take off, running down the road with huge strides. Then, as the plane got almost over top, it leaped off the road, running uphill, jumping stumps like nothing. They spun around for another look, and it was gone. So that's that. Pretty short, sweet. So Mount Rainier in Washington by Electron. So let's go back and have a quick look at this. So this is the sighting area, and perhaps Bigfoot was going down one of these trails. I'm going to get the XY coordinates, the longitude and latitude. I'm going to copy this into Google Map. There it is there. Let's have a look at the satellite imagery. Doubt there's any street views around here. No. But let's go over to this Electron. Yeah, pretty remote. Very remote. Not much along here. Very nice though, beautiful. Some kind of power station. Pretty cool. Hey everyone, hopefully you're all doing well out there today. Today what we're going to be looking at is a sighting in Arizona. I did notice there was a cluster in a particular county of Arizona, and we'll be looking at that. First of all, I'd like to say thanks to everybody for their comments, and some people have left some of their accounts in the comment section, which is really nice, and I appreciate the support and your interest in this topic and GIS and mapping and Bigfoot sightings. So we'll get straight into this. We'll zoom in on this cluster in Arizona. It's right along in Coconino County. That's the way I pronounce it. And it's by a place called Flagstaff. And this is Route 66 that comes through Arizona. And that's where the account took place. And the accounts are in the red crosses. I've changed the base map and the symbols for the Bigfoot sightings. Those are in the red crosses. And letter A indicates a sighting, so a visual sighting. B indicates supporting evidence such as footprints, vocalizations, wood knocks, and other evidence to support the fact that Bigfoot might exist. So you can see there's a real spatial pattern here. Just turn on the national parks and state parks and the local parks. See if there's, yeah, you can see there. I hadn't looked at this before, but you can really see the pattern occurring here, how they're either within parks or the national forests, or just on the fringe areas. Yeah, perhaps there's the habitat there and the space for Bigfoot or Sasquatch or Yeti or whatever you want to call him or her. Perhaps there's the habitat and the space for them to live. So we'll just turn that off. I'm going to click on this particular sighting, December 1973, report 24405, and this is with the BFRO. Man tells of his scary encounter while traveling Route 66 in a snowstorm. Okay, so we're going to flip over to the BFRO website and check this thing out. So here it is, December 1973. It's in Arizona, Coconino County, and it's northwest of Flagstaff. Route 66 and Highway 40 is the nearest road. My wife and I, with a 3-month-old baby girl in the backseat, were traveling northeast on Highway 40, Route 66, through the mountains near Flagstaff, Arizona. This was right in the middle of a snowstorm. I stopped to read the map and reassure our directions. While looking at the map, I turned the rear view mirror light on to help see the map. In the mirror, I caught sight of a huge man-like figure running up behind the vehicle. I turned to get a better look, and my wife turned too. She screamed, "Oh my God!" It was clear to see a huge, hairy, black and brown, furry being. It was very tall, large head and large arms, running on 2 feet towards our vehicle. No other vehicles or tracks in the snow. Large pines bordered the highway. There were no other vehicles on the road, no other tracks in the snow other than ours. So it was just him and his wife and the 3-month-old daughter. It was dusk and snowing pretty good. Pine forest and mountains is the environment. The follow-up investigation was by the BFRO investigator Lyle McKinley. I spoke with a witness on the phone, and the following details can be added. So he was driving on the way home to Denver from LA for the Christmas holidays in December 1973. In the late afternoon, while traveling on Route 66 west of Flagstaff, the witness hit a strong snowstorm and pulled off to the side of the road to gain his bearings and check his map. He thought he might be lost because he hadn't seen another vehicle for miles and didn't even see any tire tracks in the snow covering the highway. Been there, done that. He was driving a Volkswagen Beetle vehicle, which he left idling on the side of the highway. While looking for the map, he glanced to catch the sight of what appeared to be a large, bulky, 2-legged feature running towards the car from the rear. He mentioned that the figure had unusually long arms and legs for a man, the head pyramid-shaped but rounded on the top. It appeared to be covered in black or brown fur, and no clothes were observed. From his vantage point inside the car, he estimated the figure's height to be nearly 10 feet tall. He quickly put the car in gear. He felt threatened and that his family might be in danger, and he tried to accelerate away from the fast approaching figure. The witness stated that the creature actually chased the car and came within 15 feet of the rear of his vehicle before he reached a speed of 45 miles an hour and began to put some distance between himself and the figure. The figure remained on 2 legs for the duration of the encounter, and at one point even raised its arms above its head. At the time, the witness was 24 years old and a member of the U.S. Navy and did not believe in the existence of Bigfoot-type creatures. He said that he assumed any reports of those creatures or the Yeti were hoaxes or just imagined by people. This experience changed his perspective, and now he's a firm believer in the existence of Sasquatch. He currently works for the U.S. Mint in Denver. When asked why he thought it wasn't a human, he responded that they did not consider the possibility of a stranded motorist seeking help, but that he didn't see anything that would indicate that another human was anywhere near his position. No other vehicles of any sort, broken down or otherwise. No tire tracks in the snow, no headlights, nothing. Also, the figure was too tall to be a normal human being. The head was too large and did slope downwards, down towards the shoulders. The speed which it was running in the snow was amazing. The face was pretty much covered with the same color as the rest of the body, almost black in color, maybe a little bit lighter. Well, that was a really good encounter, one of the best ones that I've come across. So let's go back to the map and have a look at things. Let's flip on the topographic map. We've got the World Hillshade, which gives relief. Here's the sighting. This would be the highway that they were traveling along. Yeah, close to the San Francisco mountain and the San Francisco peaks. So mountainous. Camp Navajo Coconino County. So look, if we turn on the imagery. Yeah, so it looks like it's quite remote. There are different roads and a railway line. It's like some possibly industrial lands there that I could see being quite remote, quite mountainous in some parts. Now, this is the Highway 40 that they were on, Highway 66 and 40. So yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate your support, and we'll do more of these. Thanks a lot.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of GIS Answers. Today what we'll be looking at is the Sam Houston National Park in Texas, which is just north of Houston. I've had some viewers ask if I could look into this area and look at some of the Bigfoot sightings in this area. So what we'll do is we'll zoom in on the national park. There's Houston there, and we have the county boundaries turned on, as well as we've got the Bigfoot sightings database turned on from the BFRO who collect this data. And those are in the green triangles. And this area in green is the Sam Houston National Park, or National Forest. I've been calling it National Park, but it's a national forest. In the red dots, I've isolated the Bigfoot sightings just within the park. So we'll turn off those that are outside the park, and we'll focus in on the ones within the park, which is to have a look at some of these. So April 2006, print found in Sam Houston National Forest along the Lone Star hiking trail. October 2004, hunter hears strange chattering and finds tracks in the Sam Houston National Forest. We'll come back and look at this one. September 2001, pre-dawn sighting on the north side of FM 1375, just east of the bridge over Lake Conroe. July 1975, while rowing a boat across a lake in Huntsville Park, witness saw a dark animal in the form of a man. January 2004, predator caller has nighttime encounter in Sam Houston National Forest. Not really sure about that. Don't really understand that one. November 2004, man has night encounter at home just outside Sam Houston National Forest. April 2002, hiker has daytime encounter. July 2003, while riding a horse, a man has a midday sighting. May 1990, woman recalls seeing a huge Bigfoot creature from a boat on Lake Livingston. May 2005, vocalizations, wood knocks, and strange chatter heard in the Sam Houston National Park. August 1996, while riding an ATV, police officer has sighting. So we might have to come back and do another episode on that and look into that, the police officer account. November 2004, campers hear loud vocalizations. Okay, so that's basically all of them in the park. There are others on the fringe of the park all the way around here, so that's quite interesting. But again, there was a couple that referred to chatter, strange chatter and wood knocks. That was May 2005. And over here in September, I think it was. No, October. Hunter hears strange chatter and finds tracks. So let's look at some of the chatter, the samurai chatter. I'll play some of this for you, and you guys can think what you can let me know what you think.
That's our deal.
So this is the Sierra Sounds recorded in California by Ron Moorhead.
Where we look for tracks of life for sure.
You can hear Ron and his friends talking. So this video is not the video from the Sierra Sounds. I'm not sure what this video is actually from, but it's not from the Sierra Sounds. So just ignore the video and listen to the sounds. So there you go. You can hear the wood knocks, you can hear the whoops, you can hear the samurai chatter. That's what it's referred to. And well, it's quite interesting, and it's available on YouTube if you want to spend some time looking into that and listening more. So again, that video was not from 1971. It's just something that somebody's put on, and they've added the samurai chatter and the sounds from the Sierra Sounds. That's what it's called. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again. Thanks a lot. Bye. Hey everyone, hopefully you're all doing well out there today. Today what we'll be looking at is the Adirondack State Park in New York State, and we'll be looking at Bigfoot sightings within that park. In ArcGIS Pro, what we have is the layers down the left-hand side, and we've got Bigfoot sightings. Just turn those on with their scale dependent so you can see them when you zoom in. But what I've done is I've clipped the USA Bigfoot sightings by park areas. So anything within a park will be displayed. And there is the Adirondack State Park. And I was looking at this previously, and it's 8,966 square miles. We have the county boundaries on, as well as the imagery, the world imagery. Let's have a look at some of these sightings. There's a cluster down here in Warren County, but let's have a look at them. Up in Clinton County, February 2005, possible nighttime sighting by a motorist on Chazy Lake outside Saranac. I've been close to Saranac, quite hilly and a fair number of lakes, as well as being forested, well forested. August 1996, 2 people in a canoe see creature on the shoreline. October 2002 or 2003, unusual events at remote family cabin near Keene Valley, New York. June 2006, possible daylight sighting by motorist near Minerva, over in Hamilton County. May 1999, a camper hears strange screams at Indian Lake. See what we can see here. There's Indian Lake. Just turn off the USA Parks for a second. You can see how remote this area is. I'm not sure how people would get in there canoeing and hiking, probably. Okay, turn the parks back on. 2004, 2 men see a 7-foot-tall biped in their headlights while driving near Curoga Lake. Wow. September 2010, possible nighttime encounter outside a home north of Northville. Here's a cluster around Lake George in Warren County. July 2009, possible vocalizations heard by campers in Lake Luzerne area. 1980 to 82, possible stalking of hikers on Prospect Mount near Lake George. November 1999, possible tracks, smell noticed by a hunter at Black Mountain outside Whitehall. So Whitehall, I do believe, is quite famous for Bigfoot sightings, and there was a major sighting there. May 2002, possible vocalizations heard approximately 2 miles from Sabbath Day Point. March 2006, possible vocalizations heard near Sabbath Day Point. August 2000-2001, campers describe a possible approach to a camp near Lake George in the Adirondacks. Well, that's most of the sightings for now, if not all of them, in the Adirondack Park. not too far from the Canadian border. Just one tip for everybody, if you're interested in documentaries on Bigfoot, there's a couple of good shows, a couple of good movies, documentaries. It's called Sasquatch on Lake Superior, and there's 2 parts. So Sasquatch on Lake Superior, you can find that on YouTube, and it's all about witness accounts. So I highly recommend that. And once again, thanks for watching today, and please subscribe to the channel. Let me know what else you would like to see in the comments down below. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Today we're looking at an encounter from 1793. Incredible, really. Last time we were looking at one from like 1870. So this is 1793. And this one is sent from somebody in South Carolina, but it's actually a report that takes place in North Carolina. So on the map, I've got to go in and actually fix this. It says South Carolina, but that should be given credit to North Carolina. So this is the GIS Bigfoot Answers map. This is what you get access to if you become a member of the YouTube membership for our channel, or if you join the Patreon channel. And that's approximately $5 a month. So you have access to this application, and as well you get access to the reporting application where you can send in your reports. So let's get into this one. Get a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and settle down, and we'll go through this account. You know, we've got a few nice days before Labor Day, and I know in the United States that's when the football starts up, and everybody will be going crazy about their NFL football, but also the kids are enjoying playing high school football and college system in the States too, where people really get behind their teams in their colleges. So that should be a great fall for everybody. All right, so let's get into this. It is in North Carolina. We'll zoom in on this area. It's right on the border of Tennessee. It's the Blue Ridge. It's just on the edge of the Blue Ridge Mountain Range. The report comes from Bold Mountain. It's a visual sighting. An extraordinary animal found on Bold Mountain area. It is between 12 and 15 feet tall and resembles a human. Its feet are around 2 feet long, a dark, hairy creature with large eyes. Its nose is like a human's and has lots of hair on its head. It has attempted to kill several people, but shots have been fired to keep it at bay. It has been said to wait for travelers to Bold Mountain. The Indians here call it Chickley Cuddly, while the residents call him Yahoo. Wow! Yahoo. Interesting. You can see how mountainous this is here. We'll try to get a Google Street View of this area and have a look. Google Maps. Bold Mountains are a mountain range rising along the border between Tennessee and North Carolina. They're part of the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Southern Appalachian Mountains. The Cherokee National Forest and the Pisgah National Forest protect substantial sections of the Bold Mountains. Wow, look at that. Amazing. So impressed with the United States. And the different landscapes. Every time I go to different parts of the U.S., it just blows my mind. Just incredible, really. Amazing. So here we are. I'm going to look up Bold Mountain again. See if we've got any, yeah, we do have some Google Street View here. Wow, look how beautiful this is. Got the wooden fence lines. Absolutely incredible. There's a preserve here, so a natural wildlife area by the look of it. Protected areas, well maintained. Not a piece of garbage. Wow, such a nice looking area. And there is a water course, a stream that runs Bold Mountain Creek. So a freshwater stream running through the mountains and providing fresh water. Very nice part of the country here. So we're going to flip back to the BFRO listings. And let's see. Here's Bold Mountain. And maybe let's have a look at some more current sightings. See if they're actually kind of similar to these ones. See if there's any 15-foot Bigfoots. Possible howls heard in the Three-Top Mountain area. So these are within 20 miles of the Bald Mountain. Park rangers and residents of Glendale Springs observe large footprints in deep snow. That's March 1987. August 1978. A man recalls his 1978 close encounter with a large, hair-covered creature in Wilkesboro. September 1998. While out trout fishing, father and son come across one big footprint in the sand. June 2010. Campers hear multiple whooping sounds at Linville Falls. Yep. So these are basically within 30 miles, between 10 and 30 miles of the Bald Mountain sighting of 1793. So this goes way back. And here we are, 200 years later. So it's kind of incredible. Between 1793 and 1978, maybe people didn't bother maybe they didn't bother recording this information. It's only in the last 30 or 40 years that people have come forward and provided this information to the BFRO. So good on them. You can also submit to me if you want to. You can join the Patreon channel or the YouTube channel, or you can just send an email with your account, or you can post your account down below. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, please subscribe to the channel and watch out for future videos.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of GIS Answers. Today what we'll be looking at is a question that's come up from a viewer, 57 McGee, and he lives in Evington, Virginia. And he asked the question about whether there's any Bigfoot sightings around that area of Virginia. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at the Bigfoot Field Research Organization's sightings database. And we'll look around where he lives in Evington. And we're using ArcGIS Pro right now. And we've got several layers loaded in. We've got the Bigfoot Sightings database. And that's scale dependent. It'll come on when we zoom in. And there in the green triangles, you will see the sightings database pop up. We have the World Street Map base map, as well as USA Parks and USA Counties for reference. BFRO.net database at BFRO.net, or sorts out the sightings by counties. You'll see what I mean once I get started with this. But what we'll do, we'll search for Evington, Virginia, and what was Evington, Virginia. And it's not in Leicestershire, England. It's in Virginia, USA. So that's searching on the ArcGIS World Geocoding Service, and it's in Campbell County, Virginia. And I can right click on this and let's just add a graphic there. So we've got a bit of a reference point. Okay, we'll zoom out and we'll see, yes, in fact, there is a number of Bigfoot sightings in this area. And just for reference, we'll just measure some distances here. We'll change this to miles, maybe. Yeah, let's go with miles. So Evington, so 27 miles to one just north of Lynchburg. And then over into Bedford County, 23 miles, 26 miles. And then to the south, 30 miles. And some more cluster of 4 or 5, another 32 miles away. And to the south, 40. And to the east, 56 miles. Okay, so we do have a few. Quite interesting that there's a couple here in this park, this national park, or let's see what kind of park it is. Yep, national park. It's George Washington National Park. Down here, Jefferson National Park. So that's quite close to where 57 McGee lives. So let's have a look here. Report 1768. A lifelong hunter hears strange screams in early morning twilight directly under his tree stand. That's 1988. So what about this one in Amherst County? Man sees large animal by roadside. Report 9842 in 2003. Amherst County, 2003. Observed, Amherst County, Virginia, US 60, 100 yards west of State Route 778, approximately 10 p.m., December 7th, 2003. I had passed that point about an hour earlier, and the area was loaded with deer. Had to slow way down to avoid a collision. There were at least 8 there at 9 p.m. I was taking my sons, who were in the National Guard, back to the university after their drill. They are now at Fort Dix, being retrained for an all-expense-paid trip to Iraq. Wow. Thanks for your service. On the way back, eastbound, down the mountain, after delivering my sons back to their dorm, I slowed way down as I approached the area. I looked carefully to avoid any animal contact. In the brights, as I looked right, I saw a yellow reflection first. As I got closer, I saw the top part of an obviously large creature. Its arms were spread out to either side. I could see hair hanging from the arms. The elbows were bent slightly. The head appeared flat-faced, huge, and slightly higher at the rear. The shoulders were broad. The color was dark. A slight sulphurous odor was detected. The steep bank hid most of the creature. It was perfectly still. I almost felt it thought it was not visible to passing vehicles. I went back to the area about 10 days later and saw some scuff marks on the bankside. This area is crisscrossed by many deep ravines and creeks. After discovering your great site, my interest pricked. I've hesitated to turn this one in because it was so fleeting. So the person also noted a bunch of deer an hour earlier. No other witnesses. Other stories? I had what might be called a Class C experience on Simpson Timber land in Mason County, West Virginia in 1984. I had several customers during that period, primarily in Grays Harbor County. That one had close encounters, but never thought much about it. I don't hang around Amherst County. I try to get out as fast as possible. My son had a frightening experience west of Richmond on James River. He claimed he reported it to you folks, but he moved back to Utah. So even if you tried to contact him, he may have been gone. The conditions, time and conditions, 10 p.m. Environment, heavy woods. There you go. There's a good one. Quite a distance from Evington, north of Lynchburg. Just double check on that again, how many miles that would be. 27 miles. Too far. All right, let's see the next closest one to the south. Using the measure tool, it snaps to our Evington point that we put down there, and it's snapping to the Bigfoot sighting 32 miles away. Just going to click on the Explore button and click on the triangle, and that pop-up comes up. Report 2549, hairy humanoid biped seen diving into the Great PD River. I'm not sure about this one, if we're in the right location. I think this might be reported in the wrong location. Let's see if we zoom in. If this Great PD River is actually, I think it might be in the wrong location. I think it's it's actually in South Carolina. So yeah, it's that one is mapped out wrong. So we won't do that one. Let's zoom in. Looks like there's quite a few over here. Okay, report 10082. Hunter has daylight encounter near Gills Creek. That's December 2004, and that's in Franklin County. So let's flip back to the BFRO.net website. Franklin County, December 2004, a Class A, which is a visual sighting. I was riding my ATV on the family farm going down an old washed out road, which you can't drive fast on. As I started down the road, looking down at the road and then looking down the road, something caught my eye about 150 to 200 yards down this road. The sun was to my left, shining across the road to the right. As I looked down this narrow road, there was a reflection of light coming off the fur of something that I had never seen before. It was tall and massive. For that split second I saw it. The way the sun's reflection came off this thing, it almost looked silver. Being a hunter, I hunt this land all the time, there isn't anything silver in color, and that the sun coming off the back of a black turkey can look silver. That's what caught my eye. This animal went back in the woods to the right. I work my way down to where I thought I saw it. I turned my ATV off and smoked a cig, listening to anything for about 5 minutes. And about 5 minutes had passed, I heard something big running away from my direction, breaking tree limbs. It was way louder than a deer running through the thickets. I could hear this for about 1 to 2 seconds, and then it went quiet again. If I had to guess how far away it was, I would say it was 50 to 60 yards away from me when I first heard the thing running. You can't see more than 20 yards into this thicket from where I was at. Hunting season ends for general firearms 10 days before this, so deer are still alert. Then it seemed like a couple of minutes later I heard two big bangs like someone hitting a stick against a tree or a log. Then the hair on my back of my neck stood up. Then there was the snorting of the deer that came from the thicket right after that. When a deer snorts, from my experience in the woods during the day, they see you and snort once or twice, and then they take off, leaving you just to see their white tail waving at you as they go out of sight. But there must have been 4 or 5 white-tail in the area, all of them snorting and stomping the ground, and they were real loud. The deer did this for about what seemed to be more than a minute. Then I heard them take off running. That's when I decided it was time for me to leave too. I went home and told my wife about what just happened, and she couldn't believe it, and was surprised at what I had told her and asked if it was a bear. I told her I'd never seen a bear in the woods, and it seemed way too big to be a black bear. So the next day, Wednesday the 22nd, I wasn't going to go back that day. I took a camera in where I heard this animal and took pictures of what I believed to be footprints and some hair that was left on a tree limb about 5.5 feet above the ground. So there were no other witnesses, no other stories. It was 3 p.m., sunny, clear, and about 54 degrees. I don't see the photo, but a really specific and clear eyewitness account. And the follow-up investigation report. This is what the investigator writes. During our conversation, the witness estimated the creature to be near 8 feet tall and weigh over 500 pounds. Wow. So there's 2 sightings close to Evington, Virginia. And hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, please subscribe to the channel and put some comments down if you would like to see, if you'd like me to investigate some of the sightings in your area. Just let me know, okay?
Hey everybody, hopefully you're all doing well out there today. Welcome to another episode of GIS Bigfoot Answers. So we're looking at the Bigfoot map, and the sightings and the encounters are shown in the red dots. And the map is filling up with encounters that have been submitted by the patrons, and I appreciate everybody's input. And you can always post down below some of your encounters or send them to me, and there'll be a link provided in the description. So this is the map. You can scroll in and scroll out. Obviously, most of the sightings, if not all of them, are in North America. There's quite a few in Canada. Let's get stuck into this. Just to have a quick look at this encounter summary. So we've got 26 so far. You can see how it's broken down by the state or the province. And out in the lead, we've got Ontario, but British Columbia is close behind. Pennsylvania and Utah and California's got 3. I just have to change the spelling on one of those to make sure they're together. So anyway, 26 encounters. Thanks a lot, everybody. And today what we're going to be looking at is one in Louisiana. It's just off Highway 167. And the closest location is Williana, Louisiana. And it's a visual sighting. Reports of a squirrel hunter who says he wounded a Bigfoot creature. The hunter claims to have wounded a 6-foot-tall, 2-legged, hairy creature, which left a trail of blood. The sheriff's department investigated, but says they are only rumors. Similar other rumors have been heard in the area. Not a lot of evidence here, but let's have a look and see what the environment's like. And what was the date on that one? That was 1977. So wooded. Interesting to see this pattern here. Very unique looking forest is there. Straight paths throughout the forest. And the forest has been broken up into squares. Pretty cool. You can see how there's been tree planting here. You can see the trees have been planted in straight lines. So reforestation in some parts here. So we've got different roads, back roads heading into the woods. So it's just off the highway. So what I wanted to show today is a 3D map and showing the Bigfoot sightings from the Patreon page. And you can zoom in and see things in 3D. This is one that we looked at just recently in Utah. And if you recall, you look at that video, you'll see that there is a picture, photograph of the lake, and it kind of looks like what we're looking at. You know, there's vegetation and then there's bare earth. And if you look at that video, it kind of does look quite similar to what we're looking at there. So let's have a look and zoom back out and we'll go to that sighting in Louisiana. Closest town is Williana. It's going to be quite flat here, so it's not as dramatic as the hills in Utah. Can control daylight, amount of sunlight. You can control the weather, rainfall, snowfall. Doesn't snow in Louisiana though, does it? Oh, I guess it does. I can make it snow in Louisiana, and I can make it snow faster and heavier. But anyway, I just wanted to show this. Quite a neat feature that we've got. I'm sure I'm sure it has lots of rain in Louisiana. Okay, so let's have a look at this location in Google Street View. So it's just north of Alexandria. Williana is the closest town, just off Highway 167. And you can see there's a swamp there, quite swampy. Wooded, right at the edge of the road. I mean, there's not a lot of space between the road and the woods. So a hunter hunting back one of these back roads, squirrel hunting, because he shot a Bigfoot, and Bigfoot left some blood behind. So anyway, that is what I wanted to show today. And please subscribe to the channel and like the video, and please join our Patreon page. We're close to having memberships enabled on this channel, YouTube memberships. So that'll be another way that you can help support the channel. So thanks everybody for watching, and I appreciate your support. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of GIS Bigfoot Answers. Today we'll be looking at some requests from viewers. And the first one comes from a viewer who's interested in the Austin, Texas area. And they specifically asked about the Balcones Canyonland Preserve and if there's any sightings in and around that area. So we'll zoom into that area and we will search on the Balcones Canyonlands Preserve. There we have it. We found it. And I do have the USA Parks layer on. It looks like it's located here just west of Austin, Texas. Click on that, and it's the Balcones Canyonlands Preserve. It's like almost 30 square miles. Yeah, 30 square miles in area. Quite fragmented, which means it's not one big block. It's several fragmented pieces. But anyway, well, it doesn't look like there's any sightings here directly. There's the National Wildlife Refuge and the Canyonlands Preserve. Specifically, the viewer asked about the Balcones Canyonland Preserve, but there's also the National Wildlife Refuge, which is also fragmented. You can see it's not one big block, like this would be a one big block down here. The sightings are in red, they're red dots, and A indicates that that's a visual sighting. So let's see how far away that would be from the National Wildlife Refuge. It's 14 kilometers away, so about 10 miles away. Let's click on that and see what it comes up with. It's the BFRO report. Report 8530. 2 men see unknown bipedal animal running across road near the Pedernales River. Hopefully I've pronounced that right, the Pedernales River. And let's zoom in on this. So if we zoom in, you can see there's a state highway going across this Pedernales River, which actually does connect up with another river further north, which does flow towards these preserves and the National Wildlife Refuge. And actually, over closer to Austin, Texas, these preserves are right on the river. So there you go. There's access to water to sustain life and potentially maybe a corridor for a Bigfoot to move. And let's see if there's any other corridors. As you can see, yeah, the woodlands, riparian zones along some of these watercourses, along some of these streams that are weaving in and out of residential homes, residential neighborhoods, and maybe some industrial lands. You could see how an animal could easily move along those watercourses, the rivers and the streams, to larger protected areas, such as these preserves and national wildlife refuges. And this is in Travis County, Burnett County. So if you go to the BFRO.net and look up report 8530, you will be able to see that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a closer look at this sighting location in Google Maps. So I'm taking this XY coordinate that I've got from the query. That's the XY coordinate of that point, Google Maps. And here it is right here. So it's a similar aerial photography as in the ArcGIS Pro. Let's see if there's any Google Street View here. And there is. Again, this is just west of Austin, Texas. This is the State Highway. It's State Highway 71. So you can't really see much here. But this looks like down in the valley below, you can see how that vegetation could provide cover for an animal to move about. Let's have a look at the bridge. Maybe we'll get a view of the river. Oh yeah, there's the river there. You can see vegetation cover. And it's funny how these buildings are here. If anybody knows what all these buildings are scattered along the waterfront, I assume they're for your boats. And maybe they're boat houses. But yeah, if people know what those are, please comment down below. And yeah, so that's a view of the Pedernales River, Pedernales. I'm not really sure how you pronounce that. Hopefully I'm close. You can see how this vegetation does follow the water courses and the streams and the rivers. And there definitely would be some shoreline for a Bigfoot to traverse
and quite easily move along between wooded areas and between those the national refuge and the preserve. There you go. That's our first one we're going to look at, and we're going to look at some other ones in Texas shortly. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel, and we also have some a membership available to this channel, so you can pay and you can submit your sightings using an application that will then be plotted on our map. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. Today we'll be looking at Michigan. This report is from the viewer Squatchy Chris LaPuma 4611, and he left this 8 months ago. And I'd like to thank him or her for their comments. And they say, wow, I was camping with friends at Tippy Dam back in 1976 when we heard loud whoops and tree breaks. Didn't know what it was back then, but now I know it was what my Ojibwe friends call Bukwigini, Bukwigini, or Chi Masabi, the wild man or the giant man. Good report. I'll subscribe for sure. Let's have a look at this geographically. Let's have a look at this area. So, Tippy Dam is located in Michigan. So, north of Grand Rapids, west of Cadillac, east of Manistee. And let's have a look at this area. Heavily wooded to the east. The Tippy Dam Pond and a river, very wooded, with some laneways, maybe forest access roads, possibly. 10 kilometers wide by 10 kilometers or 12 kilometers. Yeah, so 10 by 12. Maybe 100 square kilometers of wooded area with that river running between. There's a dam to the north and a river that flows through to the Tippy Dam. There's a recreational area, so let's have a look at this. See if we can look at some photographs. Hey, wow, look at this. Looks like a bit of a fishing tournament, but it looks like they might be in for trout or salmon, maybe. Definitely. Wow, that's an awesome photo from October 2021. So this is Tippy Dam. There's over 1,200 photographs. Let's have a look. Again, lots of fishing. It looks like a trout, rainbow trout, maybe. Beautiful. Maybe a cabin to stay in. It's a fish. It's like a hot spot for fishing for sure. We're at the government landing now, at towards the east end of the Tippy Dam Pond. Maybe this will be a bit more remote. Yeah, you can see the wow, National Forest, Huron-Manistee National Forest. Now this looks like really squatchy. This looks more remote than the other areas. It's a pike. Nice trails to walk on. What a beautiful, beautiful spot. Camping. Looks like some islands maybe to go on. Maybe you can camp on those too. I don't know. Very good. Government Landing. Beautiful spot. Maybe a forest access road. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the BFRO sightings map and see if there's any sightings in and around Tippy Dam. Okay, so here we are in Michigan. And here's Tippy Dam. And again, this is part of the Manistee National Forest. And this is the Tippy Dam Pond. And there's a sighting right here. Report 43519. Night fishermen startled while in their boat at Tippy Dam Campground, April 2012. And not too far away to the west, report 30090. Grandfather and grandson witness a big black creature chasing a deer near Manistee. That was in 2009. Report 30089. Memory told of a possible encounter while deer hunting east of Manistee. Report 26196. Possible intimidation experienced by two bow hunters near Cadillac. So quite a hot spot here in this area of Michigan. July 2006, report 35387. Late afternoon sighting by two brothers near Baldwin. So yeah, you can go to bfro.net and look at those if you'd like. And what a real hotspot for Bigfoot sightings. So please submit your sightings. You can submit them to bigfootanswers@gmail.com, or you can leave them in the comments down below, or you can report them to the BFRO. Thanks, everybody.
Hey everyone, just a quick video today on a sighting from a viewer. He says, I had a sighting at Dillon State Park outside Zanesville, Ohio. I took a brief walk to the lake. It was February of 2022 when I heard a howl or a sound I had never heard before. It drew my attention to the woods when I had seen a large creature covered in black fur near the lake. It froze and stood up still, and when I walked toward it, it howled again at me, but louder this time. Then it and a juvenile casually walked into the woods. Says that he reported it to the BFRO and contacted the Southeast Ohio Bigfoot Research Society. It was incredible and life-changing. Thanks for sharing that. That's amazing. So let's have a look at this Dillon State Park and the lake just outside Zanesville, Ohio. There's Zanesville, Ohio, and just north of that, to the northwest, is Dillon Lake. You can see how wooded it is around the lake. Pretty cool. Let's see how wide this lake is. Doesn't look to be very wide. So no, not even a third of a mile wide. Dillon Lake. Looks like a campground here on the lake. So I'm going to use these coordinates and see how, if there was a Bigfoot, how a Bigfoot could easily move throughout some of these roads. It could move past a subdivision here along this watercourse, and it's Dillon State Park. Yeah, so look at that watercourse, that river winding its way through between the roads and the settlements. Quite awesome, and like really, it could go on for miles, and it does. And there's a railway line that traverses along, as well as a highway along the river. Quite cool, really awesome. So totally possible, and what a sighting. So let's have a look. I've taken these coordinates and I've put them into Google Street View. Unfortunately, there isn't any Street View in this area close enough to the lake to have a look at the lake, but I did find this photograph at the campground. I don't know if the viewer was at the campground, but you get a good perspective on look how wooded the other side is. and adjacent to the campground. Potentially, possibly he was here, maybe not, but it gives you some kind of idea of where he was. And let's see if there's any other photos in this area. Here's one here. Oh, here's a trail, a wooded trail. Very nice, beautiful. You can see how dense the vegetation is. Pretty awesome. And let's have a look at some of these roads. I'll just show you that, yeah, there's not much in the way of. Let's have a look. Look at the edge of this road, this Highway 146. You'd think that you might be able to get a view of the lake, to get an idea of the driving conditions along the lake. But boy, look how wooded that is. You don't even get to see, don't even get a view of the lake. You don't see that watercourse or the lake next to the road because of how dense the forest is. Pretty awesome. So there you have it. There's a good sighting in Ohio, and thanks to the viewer for sharing that. I appreciate it. See you all again soon.